Hey everybody, welcome to the Mark Parham podcast. You can follow me online by just typing in Mark Parham on YouTube. You can type in Mark Parham on Rumble, and then on Spotify you can just type in Mark Parham podcast and I should pop up. Something that I've noticed online, I keep on seeing people talk about, some of these countries want, some of the elites are allowing illegal immigrants to, get into these countries in Europe, and even if you look at America, and just different things. And you know, I used to think like, oh well, some of these folks are just talking and just saying whatever. But if you look at it, what's going on right now with illegal immigration is a lot of the politicians and the people that make really important decisions at the top are allowing this. If you see the images in Europe, you see what's going on in America, for our politicians to act like this isn't a problem or this isn't an issue, it's insane to me. And again, this has nothing to do with racism. This is just common sense. If you allow millions of people to flow into your country and you don't check these folks, you don't know their medical history, you don't know any of those things, and you allow them to get food, clothing, and shelter, that's a big problem. I mean, if you look at what's even going on in, I would say, America, this country, I'm seeing reports where some of these illegal immigrants are getting money, debit cards, places to stay at, all sorts of stuff. And we treat them better than we treat some of our veterans that have been fighting in the wars, some of the veterans that have been, you know, doing all they can do to help Americans. We're sitting up and allowing illegal immigrants to come over and just, do what they want to do. And, allowing folks to just come to your country and set up shop it's wrong. It's wrong, and it's not right, and it doesn't make any sense. And even if you I've been looking at some of the images in Europe where some of the illegal immigrants have been able to just come to some of the countries in Europe and just set up shop and, be given food, clothing, and shelter, and, people are supposed to be okay with it. And so again, you're seeing this rise in, people getting tired of that happening. I mean, immigration has always been a big issue. I mean, before it was the economy, and I think, now people are just talking about immigration, especially when I go on Twitter, because even people who are liberal are saying, wait a minute, this isn't okay. And the type of immigrants that you end up getting, you're not getting people who are going to go to Harvard or Oxford. You're getting people that are criminals. Some of these people have records back in their own country, and then they come to America and they commit the same crime. And I've seen that a few times in New York City where they'll pick somebody up for a crime, or somebody will call the police, and then they find out this person has a record even in their home country. And, so that doesn't make sense to allow just random people to come into your country and you don't do any background checks on them or anything. And so I think Joe Biden is really destroying the country with just letting all of these illegal immigrants, millions of illegal immigrants, just come into the country. I think Joe Biden is doing this on purpose because, remember, he sees the images just like we do. And actually they have, more intelligence as far as the tracking statistics and everything. I mean, it comes out of the government, so they know about these things, and they refuse to do nothing. So people can't act like, oh, Joe Biden doesn't know, or the Biden administration, they have no clue what's going on. No, they know what's going on. They are allowing this to happen. And again, they're looking at this from a standpoint of, oh, well, we'll have more Democrat voters. They really want places like Texas and Florida to become states that, are loaded with Democrats, or AKA illegal immigrants. And so I think that's what they're trying to do, because it makes no sense to open your country up to everybody. There's nothing wrong with legal immigration, but to open your country up to just random people and give random people debit cards and shelter. That makes no sense. And I think this is something that's really going to backfire on the Democrats. It's even pushing black people to start supporting Republicans. Like I'm seeing a lot of black men say, enough is enough. And I'm seeing black men, they're actually agreeing with Donald Trump on this, including me. I mean, if you look at Chicago, the voters are so tired of resources being given to people that just come to the country. And I think this is going to be a big problem. It's going to force more African Americans to vote for Republicans this year. And I think not just this year, but in future elections. And even if you look at what's going on in Europe, it's forcing people who are normally liberal, let's give everybody a chance. It's forcing them to say, you know what, this is wrong. We have people here that aren't getting any benefits from their government. And so America's changing as far as this immigration issue is changing people's attitudes in Europe, and it's changing people's attitudes in France. And again, with Europe, I'm looking at countries like Ireland and countries like England. Those countries are loaded with people that are just from everywhere. And again, it's one thing if you're following the process and doing everything correctly and following laws and being, there's nothing wrong with legal immigration. But when you just, come over on a boat and just expect people to open up, expect people to have open arms to you, that's wrong. And if you look at what's going on in Europe, I mean, I'm looking at how these folks will come over from some of these foreign countries, Africa, some of the countries in the Middle East, and then some of them don't come to those countries and say, well, you know what, let me become a productive citizen. I'm seeing, more crimes that are happening because these folks they're coming over, they're stealing, they're doing all sorts of stuff. And so it's done on purpose. And I think that some of the elites are trying to, this might sound weird, but I think some of the elites want to replace some of the white people that already live there. And it's sort of crazy because you would think that they would want to, make their country safe and things like that. But no, this is all done on purpose, and it's an evil plan. There's some people behind the scenes that are allowing this, that want this to happen. But for countries that were majority white, and again, I look on Twitter and you would know that those countries were majority white. You wouldn't. I mean, if you look at some of the population, how the populations are changing in a year or two, I mean, that's insane. So I know I'm rambling, but this is going to be, I think in America right now, it's a huge problem. I think it's the number one issue people are talking about. And I think in Europe, it's turning more people to become right wing because, the system can't keep on supporting just random people that are taking resources, taking shelter, using, breaking the law. The system's not going to allow it. And normal people aren't going to allow it. I don't care how liberal you think you are. It's just wrong. It's very wrong. And you're not getting people that are the best of the best. I mean, you're getting folks that some of these guys have families in their home countries. Then they come over to America or Europe like they're single men. It's just insane. So, again, you're going to see more people move to the right. You're going to see more African Americans vote for Trump, vote for Republicans in the future. And then even in Europe, you're going to see people who were liberal, they're going to end up voting for right-wing politicians, and they're going to want a government that is, a right-wing government. I mean, it's happening right now. I'm seeing it, seeing it all over the world. And again, I think the plan is going to backfire, and it's backfiring right now. I mean, you look at some of the safest communities are basically, crime has gone up in those communities because you're getting people from basically these third world countries that aren't going to, contribute to society. some of these folks aren't adding any value. I mean, it's not like we're getting geniuses that are coming over. We're getting people that, you know, are at the bottom in their own country. I mean, you're going to come over to a place like America or England and, think that these people are going to be rocket scientists? No. So, again, this is all done on purpose. It's all done by, some of these liberals and elites. This is, their plan to gain new voters and to do all sorts of stuff. So it's just sad that everyone else has to suffer. But again, the silver lining in all this is that people are waking up. People are going online. They're sharing information. And it's really waking a lot of people up to see how evil some of these elites are. So again, let me know how you feel in the comment section. Also, follow me online. You can go on YouTube, just type in Mark Parham. You can go on Spotify, type in Mark Parham Podcast, and then also on Rumble, rumble.com/Mark Parham, and I should pop up. Thank you.